to Edge
To Facebook.
and
We're already on the city page, right?
yeah, do that so that click actual right up there where it says City of Maysville.
Okay.
So you're on the
Okay.
actual page. Okay, now go down. There we go. Click. Edit audience. Oh, no, not that one. Sorry.
Cancel.
I always think it should be that one because that's what we're doing. Edit live video. Sorry.
My little one's got one more tournament, and then my oldest hadn't even started. She starts a week from this weekend.
Click settings.
St. Louis, Chattanooga,
No.
Okay.
Go down a little
Atlanta,
bit.
and Clearwater, Florida.
And
So
click
we're
on
going to try to
settings
couple
right
of
there.
Clearwater went into a few days because we haven't been able to take vacation in 2 weeks because of their.
Hours.
Right.
So we're just going to
Time traveling.
pretty much. Yes, that's how we
It
do
won't let you
it.
do that? That's weird.
We enjoy
So
it,
click.
Well, it's not
but
like that. It's not like
yeah,
vacation.
you're right.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
right.
we're going to spend a couple extra days down there. And then I'm done. Till March. That's why I don't get to play golf.
Do they play? It's just baseball, softball.
Yeah. Yeah. My oldest does indoor track, so she'll do that. And my little one does cheerleading
I think that's what that used to be.
Okay.
out at the STEAM Academy, which is out that campus out near Public Works.
There was another one.
Did you guys get going?
Yes, I think so. We're
Basically
we're
took
live
that
right now.
jockey
Yes.
underwear
This
factory,
one.
converted it
Yep.
into this indoor.
I'd like to call the Maysville Board of Commissioners Thursday, October 12th to order. We'll begin with our invocation, Reverend Lewis.
Gracious Father, we come before you. We thank you for this season that we are entering into. We thank you for the cooler temperatures, and we thank you for the beautiful display of colors. Father, we also come before you and we take this opportunity to lift up to you those that are going through tragic times throughout our country and throughout this world. And Father, we are comforted in knowing that we have somebody we can turn to and ask for help in times like these. Father, we do pray that as we are here this evening, that everything that we say and do would be for the benefit of this community and for your glory. And we ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Lewis. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmell,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood, Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am. Here.
Mayor Cotterill,
Yes, ma'am.
City Manager Wallingford,
Here.
City Attorney Cottle,
Here.
Controller Radasta,
Here.
HR Director Rose, Project Manager Horde,
Here.
Public Works Director King, Police Chief Palmer,
Here.
Fire Chief Doyle,
Here.
Zoning Administrator Larger,
Here.
Building Inspector Fawcett,
Here.
Codes Officer Brooks,
Here.
Tourism Director Bailey,
Here.
Main Street Director Reese.
Here. Thank you. Minutes of September 14th meeting and department reports.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmell,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood, Commissioner McKay,
Yes.
Mayor Cotterill.
Yes, ma'am. Public announcements.
Oh, yes, sir. You go right ahead.
Just real quick, I'd like to recognize Chris Connolly. Of course, he's watching his kids tonight. He couldn't be here, so I'm here coming on vacation to take care of him. But he is a very good assistant chief, and he's been the chairman of the local CASA board here in Mason County for about a year now. Last week at the state CASA convention in Lexington, he was honored as the CASA board member of the year for the state CASA program. So Chris is a good asset that we have here with us, and I definitely appreciate everything he does.
Please extend our congratulations.
Yes, ma'am.
Good job.
Eddie, you want to mention this? Would you like to mention that, or Tony, were you going to do that? Yeah, go ahead. Stand up, Eddie, so we can hear you.
Of course. Of course, I'm not loud enough. Yeah, real quick, I brought in some invitations
You got that,
for
okay.
commissioners and some of these guys. Emergency management, along with Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue, we're doing something, it's the first time we've done it in the community. It's actually a safety day, open house and safety day. We're gonna have it out to the EOC, the old McFarland's building, if you're familiar. We're gonna have a lot of demonstrations, some vendors. Hopefully it's gonna be a good event. It's kind of falling into place as we go. We keep adding to it, it seems like every day, and Tony and the search team doing a great job getting this thing put together. But it's gonna be Saturday, November 4th, from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And again, we're gonna have some displays, some different opportunities for people, for children and adults. So I think it's gonna be a good program for us. And again, I was here a few weeks ago and I spoke about some of the needs that our team has. And this to me is a way to give back to the city and to the community for some of the things you guys do for us every day. So we appreciate it. And again, this is an opportunity for us to do that. So thank you all very much and hope to see you there.
Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any others from you folks? You guys have anything? But Mayor, if I may, David, you want to talk about the meeting you've had with the state regarding some stream restoration down here behind us and the flood areas?
As you know, for a few years now, we've been working with FEMA to try to get a grant for some stream restoration on Limestone Creek, specifically behind the library and over at the pump station. And through all this, we've come up with some different things, and Buffalo Trace has been working with us, and the other, it's been going on for a couple of months now. We've had some meetings with Brian Storrs he's from the Kentucky Environmental Cabinet, and he's basically the Licking River Basin Coordinator for watershed planning, okay? And what that basically is he takes care of all the watershed areas for the Licking River region. So what he's come up with is he wants us to have a watershed management plan specifically for Limestone Creek right now at this time. Because, you know, we span as far as city property from behind Wall Park all the way back behind the library over to the station. And that's where basically our flooding ends up. You know, that's where we have a lot of it when we do have flooding, whether it's a mass rain event or flooding from river, you know, before we shut our gates, you know, at the time there's a certain time we shut the gates. But what this is, it'll help us to create a plan so we can move ahead with the stream restoration. And what it's going to help with is flooding along that Limestone Creek. And what it basically is, they develop these things called green sinks. It's like a sink in your kitchen. They dig an area out, put riprap in it below the water level, you know, the water table. So when the creek gets up to a certain level, it runs into these. It's like a pond, but then it goes in and it dissipates. It goes out. It doesn't hold the water. It becomes nasty and stagnant and stuff like that. But for us to be available for money through that, even if we get money through FEMA, we can use that money to develop these. And they feel like that's a lot better resolution than us going in and dredging, taking all that material out. It's a lot easier to be able to do these. So that's what we need to do. We need to say that we can adopt.
Well, I think what we need is a motion, if you all are open to this, a motion of support from the commission to work with the state of Kentucky on a watershed management plan.
And basically, I talked to another person today. He's a doctor out of the University of Louisville that does testing, and he'll come in and do the testing of the water and the soil. And he determines whether it's sedimentation from the Ohio River that comes back through, or if it's erosion from all the way at the top of the hill. We know what all watershed comes into Limestone Creek and what's in that. Farms, you know, industrial parks, stuff off the roads, the double A highway, you know, it all comes to here, so. But that's what that watershed plan, it's gonna show exactly where all this water comes from to Limestone Creek. The more area, the more of that stuff you got, the more possible chance you got to get a lot of funding. So that's why
we
we
have
need,
that plan.
that's kind of why we need to develop that plan. We need-
Is he saying that won't be green
What's,
anymore?
well, now, I don't,
I'm just
the
saying.
stagnant water,
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a whole lot, but there's money in there to aerate, if you possibly want to aerate, you know, and do things like that, which, that's what, if we can get this plan done, you know, and get that started, get money for this plan.
And what, you correct me if I'm wrong, what I would ask from the commission is, if you recall, we allocated $75,000 for stream restoration in partnership with the library. I would ask that you reallocate some of that, or let us reallocate some of that money to pay for this watershed management plan.
So how much?
The quicker we can get it
Yeah.
done,
Go ahead.
the quicker we can get funds, you know, get money. You know, it starts February of this year, it goes through, I think it's July of next year, February 24 to July. But if we have a company do go ahead and do the plan for us, I mean, we could go on and possibly get into that money. I would have to get an estimate on it.
And we'll let you,
I
we will
don't-
let you
I
know.
don't
But is it my understanding that the testing doesn't cost us anything?
No, testing, what they're doing now does not cost nothing. To get a watershed management plan, now there's a possibility we could get funding for that plan too, but that could take 3 to 5 years.
That's why if we go on and reallocate some of that money, we can get it done so we can start applying for money to do these projects.
So what
But
you're
it-
saying is we gotta have the plan before we can apply for the funds.
Yeah,
like
if we go
FEMA.
ahead and say we're gonna do one, if you give them some type of a motion or approval, then he will go ahead and put our name in for the funding. But then we can have the plan, if we can get our plan ready when the funding time comes up, it's kind of like the plans we have for anything else, sidewalks.
So what do you need from us?
Support, a motion of support for this project.
I'll make it.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, who first and second?
David first and second. And real quick, let the record show that Commissioner Wood is present.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
all.
And now I do have a, okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. I just didn't want to move on because I have a few more announcements, but.
No, you go on. I've got a comment.
I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that the next comprehensive plan in-person meeting is Tuesday, the 17th at the Mason County, or at the library, and on the 19th at the community college. And those two sessions start at 6 o'clock in the evening, and they're on housing. And I'd also like to mention that it is National Homemakers Week. And earlier, the Mason County Homemakers presented a symbolic check to the judge and I, because they have contributed 56,330 hours of service to our community. And that value is $1,577,240. And I had a few people ask me about trick or treat in Maysville. It's as always on the 31st, correct, Matt? And 6 to 8. Okay? And then this Saturday, the Rotary Club and the Mason County Conservation District is sponsoring an Ohio Valley River Sweep to clean up down along the river. They're meeting down at Limestone Landing, and it's 9 to 11 on this Saturday, the 14th. And I think that's all I have.
Did
I
you?
just have comment. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Did you bring us a check
Did I bring you a check?
from the homemakers?
No,
Oh,
you already spent it.
Go ahead, Ms. Amy.
I'm sorry.
It's great. I want to say that I've had some phone calls about when we moved recyclable to the public works, that there's nobody there on Saturday at all. And I think we discussed that you would have to present driver's license.
Yeah, we were doing
No, because these people have been there every Saturday, and nobody's been there, and nobody's asking for driver's license.
We will. We'll get that squared away.
Okay.
Take care of that. Caitlin, do you have anything?
I think the only thing that we missed for this weekend is the chili cook-off. That's
Oh,
happening on
yeah.
Saturday from 1 to 7 p.m. and that's on Middle Market Street. So you guys can contact the Maysville players if you guys want to participate, if you have any other information. I know the Russell Theater is showing a movie this Friday and also on Tuesday for Apollo.
And I believe our fire department and our police department are in the chili cook-off.
And before we meet again, as she said, there's that on this Saturday. Next Saturday, the Humane Society of Buffalo Trace is having their downtown pet costume contest, and they have paparazzi booths and things like that where you can go around town and take pictures of your animals. And then on the 28th, the following weekend, is downtown trick or treat with all the merchants, and there's a lot of candy and fun to be had then as well. And we thank the VFW for their support of that. They brought their trunk or treat downtown a few years ago and give hot dogs and chips and a little lunch to all the kids. So they're good sports.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay. Appointment of Chris Ely to the Industrial Development Board. I think you received it.
He's not.
No, he's not. Chris isn't here. No.
You received the information in your mailboxes? Yeah. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
If you look on the back of that sheet, you will see his qualifications.
Nothing on the back of them.
There's nothing on the back of that?
No.
All right, I have one of those.
Thank you.
I'll make that motion.
Oh,
you
There's-
second.
Good, second.
Yeah, could I see that?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cotterill.
Yes, ma'am. Reappointment of Barbara Goldman to the CVB for a term that expires in 26.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cotterill.
Yes, ma'am. Appointment fire officer.
Some memo from Fire Chief Doyle regarding Andrew Royalty recommendation, October 11th, 2023. As you are aware, we have been seeking interested candidates for open fire department positions and conducting the testing and interview process. Andrew Royalty has completed the steps necessary for full-time employment for the Maysville Fire Department. Andrew is a certified EMT, has experience in firefighting, and has shown great interest to become a member of our team. He is currently enrolled in the paramedic program with Shawnee State, and I recommend he is appointed as probationary firefighter EMT for the Maysville Fire Department.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwell,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cotterill.
Yes, ma'am. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you. Thank you guys for the opportunity.
Glad to have you as part of our team. Appointment water plant superintendent.
This is from Darren Spence, interim utility manager, subject Kevin Purdon, October 12th, 2023. The utility department currently has a vacancy for a water treatment plant superintendent. After careful consideration, I would like to request the appointment of Kevin Purdon as the water treatment plant superintendent. Kevin obtained his Class 4 surface water treatment license. He has worked for the city of Maysville for over 15 years as an operator in both the treatment plant and water distribution. Kevin has demonstrated a high level of dedication, technical expertise, proven leadership, and a strong commitment to ensuring the safety and quality of our water supply. I respectfully request Kevin Purdon be appointed as the water treatment plant superintendent. I feel with his expertise, he will be successful and a great asset to the utility department in the future.
I will entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
And a second for a question?
Mhm.
So is that all he needs now is a Class 4 and he's got all his,
Yeah, we're a Class 4 plant.
yeah?
Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmill?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay? Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing mutual aid agreement with Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue 23-50.
Resolution authorizing mutual aid agreement with Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue. Be it resolved by the city of Maysville, Kentucky, that the city enter into a mutual aid agreement with Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue and Maysville Mason County Emergency Management, authorizing the payment of a per capita fee of 25 cents per year.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmill?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing the lease with Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue 23-52.
Resolution authorizing lease agreement with Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue for space at 668 Kenton Station Road. Be it resolved by the city of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute a lease agreement with Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue for space located at 668 Kenton Station Road for $1 per year rent.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmill?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution declaring Kentucky Retired Teachers Week 23-51.
Resolution declaring Kentucky Retired Teachers Week. Whereas Kentucky's retired teachers have devoted their careers to the education and training of literally thousands upon thousands of Kentucky's youth, and whereas Kentucky's retired teachers have retrained and/or provided primary educational opportunities to hundreds of adults in the state who, for one reason or other, had fallen behind in the formal education needed for job and social skills. And whereas Kentucky's retired teachers rendered valuable services in diverse leadership roles in their communities and institutions throughout their careers and continue to render such services as retirees. Whereas Kentucky's retired teachers represent the profession which is given the basic responsibility for launching the careers of state and national leaders and for laying the foundation for the welfare of all members of our society. And whereas Kentucky's retired teachers have toiled ceaselessly to improve the quality of life in the state and nation, too often in less than adequate circumstances and for less than adequate pay. And whereas Kentucky's retired teachers represent a tremendous pool of experience and training which remains dedicated to the betterment of society everywhere. And whereas Kentucky's retired teachers represent a loyal, patriotic, and concerned citizenry which provided a dedicated and dependable support to the leaders in our community, state, and nation. Whereas Kentucky's 2014 General Assembly has honored Kentucky retired teachers by recognizing the third week of October as Kentucky Retired Teachers Appreciation Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the city of Maysville, Kentucky does hereby declare the third week of October as Kentucky Retired Teachers Appreciation Week and encourage all citizens to join in this important observance.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmill?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution accepting Lexington Street property 23-53.
Resolution authorizing the mayor to execute the certificate of consideration statement on deed to 330 Lexington Pike. Be it resolved by the city of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute the certificate of consideration statement on the deed to the city of Maysville for property located at 330 Lexington Pike, Maysville, Kentucky.
I'll make that motion.
Second discussion. Is that the one where we have to have to tear down?
Yes, it's the old warehouse up there we had to tear down. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing an agreement with Kentucky Transportation Cabinet 23-54.
Resolution authorizing memorandum of agreement with Kentucky Transportation Cabinet for discretionary road and aid money. Be it resolved by the city of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute the memorandum of agreement with Kentucky Transportation Cabinet for discretionary road aid money to receive grant money to pave the streets of Washington Glen.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing a memorandum of agreement with Kentucky Department for Local Government 23-55.
Resolution authorizing memorandum of agreement with Department of Local Government for release of funds from Land Water Conservation Fund grant for trails at Tom Browning Boys and Girls Club. Be it resolved by the city of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute a memorandum of agreement with the Kentucky Department for Local Government for a release of funds from the Land Water Conservation Fund grant to construct trails at the Tom Browning Boys and Girls Club.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Ordinance in reference to a vacant property, first reading 23-17.
An ordinance amending Code of Ordinances Title 14, Section 201, Abandoned Property Licensing Summary. This ordinance amends Chapter 201 to create Chapter 20120 through 20127, which deals with abandoned vacant properties in the Main Street District. It provides definitions for the chapter. It provides for registration of abandoned and vacant properties. It provides for posting and inspection of Main Street District commercial property. It provides for registration fees. It provides standards and conditions, and it provides that remedies herein are not exclusive.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Discussion, I have a question.
Okay.
Matt refresh my memory. I know why we're doing it, and I applaud it, I'm all behind it, but I just don't understand why we have to include Main Street District. Why can't we go citywide? Are we going to do that?
Well, we talked about that, I think. I mean, we can. We talked about seeing how this went, and then if we wanted to expand and attack. This only deals with, this only deals with the Main Street District. Ideally, it's commercial property in the Main Street District because, and if we wanted to expand, we always can, yeah.
Okay.
But yes, right now, this just deals with the
Just go
main.
back and amend it to include.
That's all we would have to do, yeah. That's all we'd have to do.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Ordinance amending Code of Ordinance, Chapter 240, Mobile Food Units, first reading 23-18.
An ordinance amending Code of Ordinances, Chapter 240, Mobile Food Units. Summary, this ordinance amends Chapter 240, Mobile Food Units to require applications for food truck licenses to be submitted to Planning and Zoning Administrator instead of Codes Enforcement Officer. It reduces the application fee from $50 to $25. It requires proof of an occupational license. It requires written permission from a private property owner if applicable. It changes the permitted locations and times for mobile food units, and it changes the regulation for mobile food units, making them more accessible to the public.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Crowder?
Yes, ma'am. Ordinance in reference to eminent domain, first reading 23-19.
An ordinance creating the allowance and process for eminent domain in the city of Maysville, Kentucky. Summary, this ordinance creates chapter 204 of the city of Maysville Code of Ordinances, which sets forth the allowance and process for the exercise of the city of Maysville to use eminent domain to acquire blighted and deteriorated properties. It sets forth the definitions of blighted or deteriorated properties. It sets forth the process of acquisition of blighted property by the city, including a certification of blighted deterioration and notice to the owner. And it allows eminent domain proceedings by the city of Maysville, Kentucky pursuant to KRS Chapter 416.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Ordinance amending historic overlay district code of ordinance 320.409, first reading 23-20.
An ordinance amending Code of Ordinances, Chapter 320.409. Summary, this ordinance amends the official land use management map to extend the current Old Washington Historic Overlay District to encompass the property known as Federal Hill, a two-story brick residence and surrounding 5.008 acre lot, and the Marshall Family Cemetery located on a 0.75 acres within the boundary of the 5.008 acre lot, totaling 5.758 acres.
And Miss Jenny Butler is here and she will give us a little summary. Would you come up closer to the table?
Mary Jane, will you come up here?
She might need a chair to sit in.
You want to sit
No, I
down?
don't need it.
Okay,
I'll be brief, because I know you're all ready to go.
you're fine.
I feel like this property is one of the most historic properties in Maysville and Mason County. Colonel Thomas Marshall went to school with George Washington. He became a surveyor with him, and most importantly, he fought alongside him all during the Revolutionary War. When a lot of the soldiers during the hard winters gave up and went home or were killed, Colonel Marshall stayed with George Washington along with his two grown sons, Thomas Marshall and John Marshall, who became Chief Justice. And after the war, which they helped to win to gain our independence, there was no money to pay the soldiers for all their years of work. So they were given land grants in Kentucky. So once again, the Marshall family was called to service. They came to Kentucky to survey the land, and they built a building which is on this property, which was the first building in Kentucky to give out these land grants. And they became a circuit court office also. So on this property is that building where they gave out the land grants, the historic home built in the 1700s, the cemetery where both Thomas Marshalls are buried, and also descendants of the family, an old barn, and this is just a very historic property. And it's right next to the historic district. So it just kind of just enlarges it, it's right there with it. So I think this is a very important property, and I hope you all vote to add it to the historic district.
So moved.
Any questions?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Did you get the motion in second, Lisa? Okay.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Absolutely, yes.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Ordinance amending court code of ordinances, chapter 190, fireworks, second reading 23-15.
An ordinance amending Code of Ordinances, Chapter 190. Summary, this ordinance amends Title 19, Private Property Regulations, Chapter 190, Noise, Article 1, Section 190, to add Section 190.26, which regulates the use of consumer fireworks by prohibiting same from being detonated except on A, December 31 from 10 a.m. until January 1, 12:30 a.m., B, July 4th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 p.m., and C, July 3rd and July 5th from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. It requires an application for a permit on other days from the police chief. It sets forth the permitting process, and it prohibits the use of fireworks on public property.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Ordinance amending Code of Ordinances, Chapter 176, speed bumps, second reading, 23-16.
An ordinance amending Code of Ordinances, Chapter 176, summary. This ordinance amends Title 27, Public Ways and Public or Property, Chapter 176, Construction of Public Streets, to add Section 176.08, regulating the creation and installation of speed humps on city streets. It allows installation of speed humps in residential areas only. It provides that speed humps will not be installed unless 70% of affected property owners are in favor of them. It sets forth the procedures for requesting, verifying, and approving speed humps. It sets forth criteria for location of speed humps and requires the petitioner to obtain the necessary signatures from adjoining property owners. It provides that warning signs shall be placed warning motorists of the speed humps, and it makes the removal process the same as the application process.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Municipal Order Personnel Manual Update 23-03.
Municipal order amending City of Maysville personnel policies and procedure manual regarding service credit for unused sick leave and regarding police officer vacation accrued. Whereas the Kentucky Public Pension Authority has notified the City of Maysville that the KPPA has on file eligibility for service credit for unused sick leave up to a maximum of 960 hours in the CERS/KERS system, and in order to have city policy match the KPPA policy, and whereas the City of Maysville wishes to amend its policies and procedures regarding service credit for unused sick leave and also vacation leave credits, and whereas the City of Maysville personnel policies and procedure manual needs to be amended to allow for said changes, now therefore be it ordered as follows. The City of Maysville policy and procedures is amended to include the following. 112.05 termination, reinstatement, retirement. Upon termination of employment, employees will not be paid out for any unused accumulated sick leave. All service credit, including leave accruals, shall be extinguished upon termination, acceptance of resignation, or retirement. Employees rehired or reinstated by the city shall be deemed as a new employee. Any employee that began participation in CERS/KRS prior to January 1, 2014 and is separating employment for retirement purposes shall receive credit for unused sick leave up to a maximum of 960 hours in the County Employee Retirement System, CERS, or Kentucky Retirement System, KRS. A total number of service credit days will be based upon the member's unused sick leave hours and hours worked per day. Any employee that begins participation in CERS, KRS after January 1, 2014 is not eligible to receive service credit for accrued sick leave hours at the time of retirement. Section 110.01 entitlement. Regular sworn officers shall be entitled to vacation in accordance with KRS 95.495 and will receive paid vacation leave per calendar year in accordance with the following schedule. Continuous service period. Upon hire, 15 days, 13 months to 180 months, 15 days, 181 months to 240 months, 20 days, and 241 months and over 25 days.
I'm sorry, but that's on my agenda.
It's on,
You should have gotten the new one.
yeah, it was in the memo I sent to,
On your,
it was in the email memo that I sent to everybody.
I'm sorry, I thought I printed out new.
Can I get a copy of that?
Yeah,
I didn't
absolutely.
get
I mean,
that.
actually, what is it? I mean, I like to have the ordinance before I vote on it.
Yeah, but I didn't get a copy of it, is what I'm
Oh,
saying. Yeah.
Do you want to summarize it?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So we had an employee to go to, the retirement system to just check on their retirement. And it was discovered that we should be crediting sick leave up to 960 hours instead of the 800 hours. They let me know, so I contacted my person at KPPA. She sent me a copy of the signed agreement that we had, and it was supposed to be 960 hours. And I got a copy in, I think I sent Kelly a copy, and I gave Matt a copy of it as well.
And,
So we didn't get anything, I'm sorry.
And then on the police vacation, it's actually in law that police officers are supposed to get 15 days, not based on hours, but actual days, because each one of them works different shifts. So, and it has to be 15 days.
Well, I don't think I'm gonna vote on it, cause I want a copy of the ordinance.
yeah, well, we can table, we can
I'm not
table
gonna
it till
vote on
till next
something
month. That's
now,
fine.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Just have a motion to
I
table.
was brought up to speed by Fire Chief Doyle, but I would just like a copy.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
Well, we'll get you all a copy and,
Do you need a motion to table?
yeah, you just motion to
All right,
table
I'll make a
until
motion.
November.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Mayor, if we can, real quick before you go into closed session, did you have something, David,
Yes,
that you want to
yeah.
bring up?
Yeah, I have, for my personal insurance, I've got a rise this year of probably 17%. And I've been talking to Rhonda about how much ours has gone up here.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to know that there's parity in how we award insurance to elected officials. And I know that available to us is HSAs.
Well, no, you
Yeah.
can get anything that's offered from the state, not just HRAs, but any of the other plans.
But we're not full-time.
That's how it is with the state and KPPA, or excuse me, the Kentucky Public Employees Health,
KUH.
KHP, thank you, gosh.
Okay.
That's the offer there, that it's offered to elected officials.
It is offered to elected officials.
Yes, always has been.
Well, I turned you down.
And you have that
I
right.
have the
Yes,
right.
you absolutely have the right to waive it.
Yeah.
Yes, you absolutely
I
have
do
the
that.
right to waive it, yes,
I
correct.
take the and the eye,
I'm sorry.
I said take the dental and the eye.
Yeah.
I paid for that. I don't know.
Yes, you're absolutely allowed. That's totally up to each individual.
So I refused it. So,
So what are you asking, what do you want,
Well,
David?
I was thinking it'd be a lot easier if we were all offered the same thing, but you're telling me something different. I don't.
Yeah, you all are offered anything that any employee in this room is offered.
Yeah, but they're full-time.
I understand that, but that's just that's how the system works, is that elected officials in any city are offered health insurance. You
gotta be kidding me.
no, it's been that way for the
What?
23 years I've been here.
Well, hell, I've been paying my own insurance. Not that that matters, but,
It's always been offered.
all right.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, open enrollment is right now.
yeah,
I mean, it does matter, because ours is about 50% cheaper to the employer than it is. I know mine's almost $400 more at work for my plan. And it's the same policy.
so, and how did your policy go up?
But lawyers went up 16 and a half.
Yeah, ours went up.
Employees didn't.
Yeah.
the same plan here at the city is like $400, and mine is
716.
Well, I just refused it because I still keep my insurance.
Sure.
Of course, I am on Medicare.
Right, right.
Believe it. And, I keep carrying my supplemental,
Sure.
but for that reason, I don't think the taxpayers should pay mine. I'm sorry.
Is there anything you want to do, or is just that something you wanted to bring up?
Well, I'm prepared to make a motion that we all receive the HSA
The well,
or
the only way you can
HRA.
the only way you can obtain an HRA is if you have insurance with another entity.
Mhm.
In other words, I'll use myself as an example. My wife works for Fleming County School System. Same insurance.
Okay.
She waives insurance and takes an HRA. She's on my plan here at the city with my kids.
So what's the
And
HRA?
The HRA basically is preloaded amount of money on a Visa card that the employee gets, which is a lot cheaper than to the employer than them taking the insurance. Does that make sense?
No.
Well, I mean,
Sit down with you one
could
day.
could we save a bunch of money by doing that?
Well, the only thing is, if somebody does not have, don't let me put my foot in my mouth
You
here.
have to have other coverage, because when you go in to enroll, it asks you, do you have other coverage? And it asks, through your spouse's employer, or if we have people that are under the age of 26, they are on their parents' insurance. So you're swearing that you have other health insurance.
Right.
So that's the only way that you can obtain an HRA.
Matt,
And
Yes,
for
sir.
me,
Fleming County's rates are made the same.
They're same as yours. Same as yours. Yeah, the school's on the same. It's the same as
So we're subsidizing.
we are subsidizing. Yes, we are subsidizing. Right. I mean, the only way you could do that would be to pass an ordinance. You would have to pass an ordinance stating that elected officials can only obtain an HRA. Now, that doesn't bind future commissions to that. It could always be changed. But for the time of this commission, that would be the case.
Well, I'm not gonna comment on it, because for me, it doesn't apply, because I have my own retirement, I don't
Right.
have to have any of the benefits.
Sure. That's up to the five of you on what you would want us to do in regard to an ordinance, if you wanted that.
Well, I just thought it would save the city a lot of money if we did that, but I mean, the difference between a regular policy and $2,000 is,
It just depends on what policy is
That's-
taken
that's
by
true.
by an
Yeah.
individual.
Yeah.
It just
What's the difference
depends.
in the single and the family? Or
You got the rates in front of you. I have the state rates. I don't have ours.
Are you wanting to know the city contribution rate?
all of it? I just think it's worth stating.
For Living Well CDHP, the monthly contribution by the city is $877.30 for the single. Parent Plus, it's $1,132.22. Couple is $1,576.90. Family is $1,779.16. And then you go, we have two other plans, Living Well PPO, single, it's $859.90. Parent Plus is $1,066.30. Couple, $1,609.86. Family, $1,779.16. Then we have a Living Well Basic, single, $872.70. Parent Plus, $1,167.28. Couple, $1,581.62, and family is $1,732.20. That's the
no, wait,
city's.
per month,
Correct.
$1,700 a month.
For family.
I appreciate that. I know you and I discussed it, but I thought it was worth
Sure.
coming up.
And whatever we do here today can be undone.
Well,
January
yes.
of 2025.
That, well, yeah, probably February, as you had 2 readings, but yes, by a new body, could.
And it wouldn't take effect to the following year because open enrollment would already close.
Well, it would take effect that year because open enrollment in 25 would be in October of that year, so
Yeah,
yes.
If you get a new body who wants to overturn that, they
Right.
wouldn't get sworn into January 2025. They wouldn't take office of 2025.
Correct. Now,
They
if,
could overturn it, but it wouldn't go into effect until open enrollment 2025, right?
well, as a new employee though, they would be signing, if you all, they would be a new elected official, let's say January 25, would come in, fill out their paperwork, and if it hasn't been overturned yet, they could get the insurance until that open enrollment, because you wouldn't have passed that ordinance by that time. If you all did it now, so let's say first reading in November, second reading in December, it would go into effect middle of December, so yeah. It would be open enrollment of 25, they would not be able to correct, yes. I follow you now.
I wouldn't be opposed to passing an ordinance going, offering HRAs next time.
Just a
Open enrollment's already
question
open.
for,
No, we're right in the middle of open
I mean,
enrollment.
yeah, but we wouldn't be able to pass that unless we call an emergency meeting.
That's correct, yes.
so just
2 emergency
clarification.
meetings.
The state provides for it, and what David is proposing limits it.
The health insurance plan that we're on is the state's health insurance plan. One of the offers is an HRA if you have, as Rhonda said, a qualifying insurance plan with someone else or somebody else. So you can get the HRA, which basically means you're waiving typical insurance, the rates with us, and you would get, depending on what plan, either $500 on a card or $1,000 on a card. So what?
Well, don't we have to pay for it? Doesn't the city pay?
For an HRA, you're yeah.
Yeah,
For that
that's what
$2,000, but that's
City
that's
pays for it.
less than
Yeah.
that's much less than what any of these plans would be on a yearly
Oh, I
basis.
understand. I
Yes.
So
understand.
that's 2,000 per year.
No, it's 1,000.
2,100.
Oh, 2,100. I'm sorry. Yes, per year, depending on what plan it is.
Yeah.
The
If it's
HRA is 2,100.
regardless, single or not.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Is that what
Thank
you
you.
call flex card?
No, that's
No.
different.
Yeah.
It's different?
FSA is a little different.
FSA is just money that you put in yourself.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's taken out of your check each month. It's preloaded.
Pre-tax.
Yeah, thank you.
But I guess I have a question, if KEHP offers this to a full-time employee, then you can still,
You're just referencing elected officials, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, he's just referencing elected officials.
Since we haven't had information about this prior, can we table this to another meeting?
Well, we don't have an ordinance ready. I mean, if that's something you all would want to entertain, we could draft one and get you all whatever information you'd like to have and go from there. Okay.
Well, I mean, do y'all want a motion?
A motion to,
No, I think what he's saying is just, he'll get an ordinance drafted.
it would take an ordinance. You'd have to have 2 readings
Okay,
of an ordinance to do that. And I've
But you'll have to
confirmed that
have-
with the League of Cities. If that's what you all would like us to do, yes.
I might draw up something, okay.
Yeah, me too.
I got 2 here. Is there a consensus? Okay, there's 3. So we'll come up with something. And we'll present it for discussion or reading at the November 9th meeting. Excuse me.
And when does open enrollment end, Rhonda?
October 27th.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to, what I was discussing with that, whatever we do would not go into effect. I mean, everybody would remain status quo.
As the
Until
open
next open
enrollment ends
enrollment.
the 27th and it's effective January 1st.
So
Correct.
So we were trying to
Yeah.
get the same
Yeah,
place.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, we'll come up with something.
Closed session pursuant to KRS 61.8101B, discussion of possible future acquisitions of property and discussion which might lead to the appointment of an individual employee. I'll make that motion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell? Okay, click on that at the very bottom.
I'll see you out there.
It'll mute the microphone.
This one here.
I gotta walk out now.
Motion to go back into session.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes,
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, that is all I have for you in the commission tonight.
Thank you.
Motion. Thank you. Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And Vic, Ann, I'll be out tomorrow if you need something, just call me.
Yes.